Comrades and friends, good day to you all. This is Global Weekly News, serial number 14. The first we go to Iran. A women uprising in Iran. Mahsa Amini, 22-year-old woman of Charkes town of Iran, went to the capital city, Tehran, along with her parents on 13 September. Mahsa Amini was arrested by morality police, monitoring whether women wear hijab rightly as per the law. According to the police, Mahsa Amini was not wearing hijab properly. It is alleged that police tortured her. Mahsa Amini was in coma stage for 3 days. On 16th September, Mahsa Amini died. Police said that Mahsa died due to ill health, but her parents said their daughter was very healthy. An inquiry has been ordered onto the death of Mahsa Amini. The death of Mahsa Amini has created big turmoil all over Iran. Iranian women say that they are very much tired of the rulers following gender inequality. From the girl, when she is 7 years old, she cannot go to school without complete covering of her hair on the head by wearing hijab, and women cannot attend duty without hijab. Many people died due to government repression. Only in Taliban ruled Afghanistan, women are compelled to wear hijab. Fundamentalist laws are implemented in Afghanistan. But even in Saudi Arabia and some other Islamic countries, there are relaxations over controls over women. But in Iran, hijab wearing is mandatory, statutory. Both men and women are jointly protesting this in Iran. Second item we see, we go to Colombia. In the United Nations held its 77th General Assembly meeting recently in New York. And in that 77th UN General Assembly meet, the newly elected leftist president of Colombia, Comrade Gustavo Petro, he spoke elaborately, and we will see the contents briefly. I come from Colombia, one of the three major beautiful nations on the earth. Thousands of multicolored species in the seas, in the skies, in the lands. I come from the land of yellow butterflies and magic. My country is beautiful because it has the Amazon jungle, the Chaco War jungle, the waters, the Andes mountains ranges, and the oceans. The forests emanate oxygen. Atmospheric carbon dioxide is absorbed. The cocoa plant is one of the most persecuted on earth. The jungle that tries to save us is at the same time destroyed. To destroy the cocoa plant, they spray poisons, glyphosate in mass. For destroying or possessing the cocoa leaf, 1 million Latin Americans are killed and 2 million Afro-Americans are imprisoned in North America. Cocoa and the peasants who grow it, because they have nothing else to grow, are demonized. World's powers are not interested in the education of our children, but in killing its jungle and extracting coal and oil from its entrails, from its intestines. What is more poisonous for humanity, cocaine, coal or oil? The war on drugs has lasted 40 years. If we do not correct the course and it continues for another 40 years, the US will see 2.8 million young people die of overdose from fentanyl, which is not produced in Latin America. To reduce drug consumption, we do not need wars. For this, we need all of us to build a better society, a more caring society, more affectionately, where the intensity of life saves from addictions and new slavery. The scientists say that the end of human species was near, that its time is no longer of millennia, 1,000 years, not even of centuries. It is very near when it was necessary to move away from coal and oil as soon as possible. They invented war after war after war. They invaded Ukraine, but also Iraq, Libya, and Syria. They invaded in the name of oil and gas. They discovered in the 21st century the worst of their addictions, addiction to money and oil. If you observe that the peoples are filling up with hunger and thirst and migrating by the millions towards the north, then you enclose them, build walls, deploy machine guns, shoot at them. You expel them as if they were not human beings. You reproduce 5 times the mentality of those who politically created the gas chambers and the concentration camps. You reproduce on a planetary scale 1933 of Hitler. You do business with the medicines and turn vaccines into commodities. What is the use of war if what we need is to save the human species? What is the use of NATO and empire if what is coming is the end of intelligence? The climatic disaster will kill hundreds of millions of people, and listen well, it is not produced by the planet. The climate disaster is very much produced by the capital. Please end the war on drugs and allow our people to live in peace. If you do not have the capacity to finance the fund for the revitalization of the forest, if it weighs more to allocate money to weapons than to life, then reduce the foreign debt of Latin American countries. From Latin America, we call on Ukraine and Russia to make peace. Only in peace can we save life in this land of ours. There is no total place without social, economic, and environmental justice. So, if you need a total peace, that is not possible without social, economic, and environmental justice. We are also at war with the planet. Without peace with the planet, there will be no peace among nations. Without social justice, there is no social peace. The third, we go to Zambia, which is in very much in debt crisis. IMF, International Monetary Fund, has approved new restructuring loan of $1.3 billion, that is $130 crore, to Zambia to its recovery plan. This loan is accompanied with crude austerity measures. Total debt of Zambia at the end of 2021 is $17.3 billion. 60% of Zambia's people live in poverty. IMF says that will reform the regressive, wasteful subsidies. It forces Zambia to reduce public investments which are especially inefficient. These are typical vintage IMF conditions of austerity, which effectively means slowing down government expenditure in quite a drastic way, the brunt of which falls on the poor, on women, and the youth, stated Dr. Grieve Chelva, the Director of Research at the Institute of Race, Power, and Political Economy at the New School in New York, USA, in an interview with the People's Dispatch. Due to IMF conditions, complete removal of fuel subsidies are set to take place by the end of September. Import duties will be reintroduced. Subsidy removal will lead to a rise in electricity tariffs. According to data from the World Bank, only 44.5% of Zambia's population had access to electricity in 2020. The figure for rural areas was only 14%. Agricultural subsidies will only be 1% of GDP by 2025. According to Chelva, 1 million small peasants cultivating maize will be affected by reduction in subsidies. IMF insists on imposing value-added tax on more consumer goods. Only the ultra-poor will get some government concessions. Major concessions are given to corporate mine owners. After COVID-19, Zambia's total debts increased to 118% of its GDP. The government got loans from a private lending company, BlackRock, and with a higher interest rates. Government of Sri Lanka had signed 16 IMF deals. Unable to recover from the present economic crisis, Sri Lanka is again seeking another IMF loan to come to its rescue from debt crisis. Sri Lanka is trying to get a new IMF loan of $2.9 billion. IMF insists on reduction of subsidies, various subsidies, as in the case of Zambia. It also compels both the countries to privatize even the profit-earning public sector enterprises. Fourth item, we go to hurricane in Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is a group of islands in the Caribbean Sea. 3.2 million people live there. It is a US territory. US federal laws are applicable and they are recognized as US citizens. But the people of Puerto Rico cannot take part in the presidential elections, and they are not represented in the United States Congress. The Hurricane Fiona hit Puerto Rico on 18 September and caused heavy damages. Electricity was disconnected. Only 37% of people could get back their electricity after a few days. In 2017, Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico and destroyed its power grid. More than 3,000 people of Puerto Rico died due to the Hurricane Maria. Due to Hurricane Fiona, highways were totally damaged and connectivity to rural areas is very poor. 1.3 million people lost electricity connection, water supply connection, 830,000 people lost. Canada American Electrical Company, Luma Energy, will take many days to restore electricity. People are protesting against this private company during the recent months. Banana plantation and coffee trees were damaged due to power disruptions in the hospitals, patients in ICC units, and life-saving equipments. Their lives cannot be saved. Puerto Rico is affected too often by tropical storms. Puerto Rico is forced to implement austerity policies dictated by USA. Puerto Rico is facing debt crisis. People of Puerto Rico are agitating for full freedom from USA. The fifth item, we go to Italy, where elections are held recently. Elections in Italy. The coalition government led by Mario Draghi was dissolved in July 2022. On 25th September, general elections were held in Italy. Brothers of Italy, the political party, came first by getting 26% votes. This party's leader, Giorgia Meloni, is going to form the new government. As per the agreement with coalition parties, Meloni will become the Prime Minister. She is the first female Prime Minister of Italy. 64% people only voted. Last time her party got only 4% votes, Brothers of Italy, and they did not align with the Draghi government. They remained independent. Observers commented that the results shifted the geopolitics of the European Union, following far-right gains in France, Spain, and Sweden. It was also noted that the election outcome would mark Italy's far-right-led government and the country's the most right-wing government ever since 1945. The Brothers of Italy party has neo-fascist roots. Meloni-led rightist government will fight against Islamic violence, will fight against migrants, will fight against the refugees, and will also fight against LGBT people's rights, lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people's rights. In the 400 member of Chambers of Deputies, Meloni's coalition got 238 seats and the leftists got 78 seats. In 200 member Senate, Meloni's coalition got 112 seats, the leftists got only 40 seats. Sixth, we go to elections in Brazil. On 2nd October, general elections will take place in Brazil, the largest country in Latin America. For the post of president, the main contest will be between the incumbent president Jair Bolsonaro and the Workers' Party leader Lula da Silva. Opinion polls recently conducted predict victory for Lula da Silva in the first round of elections itself. He may get 52% of the valid votes polled. Seventh, strategic ambiguous policy of United States of America. In 1978 itself, United States recognized China as one China, People's Republic of China. People's Republic of China is trying to unite Taiwan with the mainland China in a peaceful way, as it has already done in the case of Macau and Hong Kong. Now Joe Biden says if Taiwan is attacked by the Chinese, US will defend Taiwan and send its military troops to Taiwan. This is strategic ambiguous policy of USA. USA is not a signatory of international treaty that governs the laws of the seas. US has been conducting naval exercises in waters around Russia and China illegally. 2 warships went within 100 miles of mainland China. One is a US warship and another Canadian warship. The visit of Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the American Congress, and 2 other parliamentary delegations to Taiwan, that has annoyed China very much. The last, we got an important item. Family Code, the first of its kind in the world, passed in Cuba. On 25th September, a plebiscite took place in Cuba and the new family code. 74% is the polling percentage. 67% voters voted yes, we are for the new family code. And 33%, mainly evangelicals, they voted no to the new family code. New family code thus passed will be a code all inclusive, progressive and revolutionary as per the experts' opinions. The new family code of Cuba will recognize the rights of surrogate mothers, that is, the mothers who rent themselves for being mothers, for carrying the sperms of others, surrogate mothers, domestic workers of women, and grandparents, children's rights, and LGBT people. The code legalizes the adoption of children by unisex married people. Thank you, comrades, for listening. We will see next week. Lal Salam. Thank you.